Hi, my name is Isabel, and I am doing the Abundance Book 40-Day Prosperity Plan. And if you are interested in doing it, well, I will be uploading a video every day for the 40 days with my experience and a little bit of a review as well about the book. First of all, here's a cover of the book. Looks pretty big, but actually it's quite small. It fits into your hand. So as you can see, it could definitely fit into a purse. I paid about $7 for it on Amazon, and then I think I had to pay like an extra $7 for shipping. So basically, I think the owner made more money on the shipping than they did on the book. But anyhow, I'm glad I bought it. I was glad the very first day that I started reading it. It's a very small book. It's really a booklet, but they probably wouldn't want to call it that for marketing purposes. It only has maybe 80 pages in it, and they're small pages, like maybe 8 inches or something like that length, and maybe 3 inches across. So the first maybe 16 pages it's basically it tells you what to expect in the 40-day prosperity plan. So there's 4 parts to it. Okay, so the first part 1, it talks about tracing the principle of all sufficiency. So it basically talks a lot about like Bible passages, and not only the Bible, it refers to other spiritual sources as well, like the Kabbalah and so forth, and even spiritualists, like what's his name, Ernest Holmes, and I can't remember all of them, but it refers to a lot of them, and basically where they cite passages about abundance, and about it being the word of God or source or divine source, or however you want to refer to the greater power, your greater power, something greater than you. Okay, and part 2 is the actual 40-day prosperity plan. So that arrives on page 17. And part 3, I haven't arrived at yet, and I wasn't really sure if I was supposed to read like part 3 after I did the 40-day prosperity plan or during, like, because you're only supposed to read 1 statement a day. So I'm still not sure, but I think it's afterwards. We'll find out. And then part 4 is a prosperity compilation. It's basically a compilation of, I haven't read that yet either, but checklists and a bunch of little affirmations and other things, I suppose. We'll get to that later on. But I really like the book so far. I'm really impressed by it. It's just such a small book, but it doesn't go on and on. The first part I read over many times, even before I got to the statements, and then I went back and I marked up little things that I thought would be really helpful towards the prosperity plan. So all right, so now on to the first day. What you have to do the first day tells you that you have to write out a statement. I'm trying to find it here. For the first day, you have to write out like this little paragraph that it has in the book. And the paragraph, basically, you're supposed to write it out in a little journal, which I picked here. And I'll tell you what it says here. So this is not a statement. This is not with the day 1 statement, but it's the pre-statement, I guess. And I guess you could do this even before day 1. I did, I think. Yeah, I did. So, all right. So, for example, it says, this day, May 26th, I picked that day, I cease believing in money as my supply and my support, and I view the world of effect as it truly is, simply as an outpicturing of my former beliefs. I believed in the power of money, therefore I surrendered my God-given power and authority to an objectified belief. Money, basically, because money is a symbol of prosperity. We give our power to the money, and it's not necessarily the money that we need, but the things that we want to use it for, and there's other ways of getting it. Anyhow, I believed in the possibility of lack, thus causing a separation in consciousness from the source of my supply. I believed in mortal man and carnal conditions, and through this faith gave man and conditions power over me. That's true, and that was a hard one for me to read, to sort of try to believe, but and anyhow, it is true when you really think about it. We do give conditions and other people power over us. All right, then it says, I believed in the mortal illusion created by the collective consciousness of humankind of error thoughts. And in doing so, I have limited the unlimited. So what they're saying is, what I believe they're saying, anyhow, maybe you have a different opinion, but what I believe he's saying is that when we give people and symbols like paper money our power, we're cutting off we're cutting off the abundance that we could get from the true source. And we'll get into this further on, but that's really what it is it's instead of believing in lack and money as your source of power, he's saying stop believing in dollars itself, like looking for that specifically, but start to look within yourself, within the I am divine divinity, divine presence, and just believe that it's unfailing and full of abundance, and that by believing that and not focusing on the lack, you won't cut off the source of true abundance. And you'll see it really does work. It actually worked for me on the very first day, which I will go over in a second here. Now, I don't want to keep this too long, so just to finish off this little paragraph, it says, no more. This day I renounce my so-called humanhood and claim my divine inheritance as a being of God. Pretty cool. This day I acknowledge God and only God as my substance, my supply, and my support. Now, you don't have to be like a Christian or a Catholic to believe any of this, but just believe that if you believe that there's a power greater than you, for example, the creator of the universe, right? And whatever that power is that continues to create and expand the universe, that's what you can refer to if you're not a religious person. I'm not Catholic or Christian, but I am a spiritualist. So for me, this is not too hard to believe. All right, here's the first statement, and then I'll tell you what happened after this statement on the very first day, and I'll back it up with proof as well. This may not happen to everybody. Now, there's 40 statements. You have to read each one. There's actually 10 statements. That's right. There's 10 statements, but it's 40-day prosperity plan. So you read each statement 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you repeat it from the first statement. Okay, 4 times, basically. You read 1 statement a day. All right. Now, the first statement is very short. You have to write it down as well. I didn't like writing down any of these statements. It was a pain in the neck, especially that big first one. That I did the day before. But the second ones, they're really just like 2 sentences. After you read them, you're supposed to meditate on them for 15 minutes. That's kind of hard if you have ADD, which I think I have. I get bored really easily. But I did, and you're supposed to write down your thoughts while you do this. So I did. All right. First statement. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. So basically, God is very giving. Don't have to think God is a person, just God, right? God is lavish, unfailing abundance. The rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. So God is everywhere in the universe. God is lavish and unfailing. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity. Doesn't end, it's unending. It's individualized as me, the reality of me. So basically, what I understand he's saying is, I'm an I'm a individualization of God. God is represented through me, and I have a divine presence inside myself. And if I pay attention to it and cut off all the external noise, then and start focusing on that as as the source of my supply and prosperity, then positive things will happen versus focusing on lack, which cuts off that connection to source. So during the 15 minutes, I had the thought, I basically, what did I think here now? I thought, doesn't God also individualize other types of conditions like chaos, poverty, and lack as the opposite of abundance? That I don't really know, but it seems to me like, isn't that part of nature? Like there's balance? I'm not really sure, but in terms of prosperity, it says, the statement says that God is lavish and unfailing abundance. So no, anyhow, so I'm not going to focus on that. I think really whatever you focus on, your thought is, you have the power to do that. It's whatever, it's what you believe, and changing your belief, even modifying it just for the purpose of this experiment is not always easy. But for the purpose of this 40-day prosperity plan, you do really need to try to believe it, even if it's just for 40 days. Like, you have to convince your mind, and that's the hardest part, because it can take a lifetime, since you're born basically, to form a belief, and to change it, it can take a lot. But once you start seeing proof, then it's not that hard. So there's other thoughts that I wrote here. I don't want to bore you with all of them, but anyhow, I wrote that I'm excited to try the 40-day plan, and I am actually, because the book is so interesting. It's not boring and dry. So now here's the proof, okay? Or rather, here is the proof that I got a sign on the first day that I'm on the right track. And I really do believe in signs, and if you do, after reading the first statement, I got this letter. Actually, was it the same day? Because I think I might have read the statement that night, and then the next morning, was it? No, it was that day. Yes, it was. Okay. No, I read the statement in the afternoon. That's what it was. And then I think like an hour later, my landlord, I'm renting a room right now in Nova Scotia, but anyhow, my landlord called me and she said, Isabel, you've got mail downstairs. So I went down and picked it up. Yeah, this is like an hour or two later, after reading the statement and meditating on it. And I got lots of mail, but one of the mail I got was a letter from the Nova Scotia Pension and Benefits government. I was previously working for a hospital locally. It didn't really work out with me, with the manager. We had conflicting personalities, and that's fine, because I wasn't happy there anyhow. And so I was only there for like a month and a half. I wasn't expecting to get anything more than the payout that I already had received from them, which was like an additional 2 weeks. So for me, I was quite happy with that. And it looks now like I might get a little bit more money from them for moving expenses and so forth as well. But anyhow, on to another thing. Here's the letter, okay, and page 1. All right, but here's the part I'm just going to show you where you can actually see it. On the second letter, I almost threw this out, because on the second page, basically talked about my pension plan. Did I want like $8 a month? I was eligible for it like 20 years from now, and I thought that was funny. And I thought, well, maybe I should read the other pages, and I did. And on the next page here, I don't know if I can, I kind of tried to circle it here. I don't know if you'll see that. There's a little arrow. Yeah. All right. You'll see here. Anyhow, it says, okay, there's the amount. And, all right, just to show you that I'm not scamming anything. It gives me options. It says, do you want to put this in an RSP? Or would you like a cash refund in the amount of $1,251.34? Option 2. Well, I'm planning on moving to Ontario in 2 weeks, so I'm going to take the cash refund. But I was not expecting this. I only worked there for a month and a half. And this happened like literally 2 hours after I read the first statement and really tried to believe that God is lavish, unfailing, abundance, and so forth. And that, and reading the first part where it says, like, believe it, don't focus on the lack. and really believe as the divine presence as your source of abundance, and that it's set up to help you succeed. But you have to believe it, and that's the hardest part. So there you go. There's a little sign for me. I do believe. I was not expecting this, okay? And there's a little sign for me. It just, I do feel it's a coincidence, because it's been like a month now that I haven't been working there. And what are the odds that I got that like hours after I read that first statement? I've had stuff like that happen before in other experiments, but anyhow. So that's pretty much it. That's day one of the Abundance book, the 40-Day Prosperity Plan by John Randolph Price. It's already made my money back on it, and it's changed my attitude. And I hope you buy it, and come back tomorrow for day two. We'll see what happens, if anything, on day two. If nothing, it'll be a lot shorter. I can tell you that. It'll probably be half the length of this video. All right, thank you very much, and have yourselves a great day.